Oh wow, I never realized it got this fast. I'm usually talking by this point. I don't hear.
I know.
Hear this.
I'm like waiting to control the levels a little bit here.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 643. Hope you're ready for a violent weekend.
I know I am.
I can't believe this Tyson fight's actually here. It was supposed to go down in July.
Yeah, I thought it would never come.
Here it is. It's tonight. Yeah, I thought it was never going to come as well. I thought there was going to be something else, and then it was going to get pushed back. And then they were eventually blaming it on Mike Tyson's health or something.
Yeah, like something would be blamed somewhere somehow.
Mm. Also, Mike, you know who's as worthless as a weatherman? People in sports media that make preseason picks. Chicago Bears were supposed to be a playoff team.
Yes.
Which I don't. How do you figure this out? You get a quarterback. I guess he's never played a down in the NFL. You draft him over number one overall. Now all of a sudden you expect to be a playoff team.
Yeah.
Good morning, Finch in Niagara Falls.
Oh.
Slowly I turn. Man, step by step.
He's living the high life.
If I was right there, right next to you, Mike, I would poke you in the eyes right now.
Well, what did I do?
But these guys are 4-5, the Bears. They were supposed to be a playoff team. Matter of fact, when they were making the preseason power rankings, the Chicago Bears were, clean up in the top 5. How do you figure this? How do you figure this? Okay, and that's not even to talk about what the Steelers got going on. The Steelers are supposed to be in last place behind Cleveland. Mm-hmm. They're supposed to be in last place behind Cincinnati. But, of course, you see the Steelers are in first place, and those two teams are in last. The Chicago Bears are supposed to be a playoff team. They're 4-5 in last place. And I found something interesting, Mike, about this. Good morning, John. Something I found interesting about this, if I could just pull it up real quick.
Yeah.
Check out this interesting number about Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams has the worst completion percentage on throws of 15-plus yards by any quarterback in any season over the past 15 years. He's 468 out of 468 over that time period. This is what I'm saying. For somebody to say that this team was going to be a competitor, a playoff team, a top 5 overall, this quarterback has played worse than anybody in the history of the game, basically. It's like you got a better chance of, turning on the TV and getting an accurate weather report than what some of these preseason experts have to say, because I got to tell you, Mike, everything that I'm seeing is off. Every single thing that they predicted did not come true and is completely ass backwards.
Yeah, and like Chicago, the amount of pressure put on a rookie quarterback's already high. What they were putting on him was it was so much, and he had a nice little 3-game window where you're like, oh my god, this guy looks like he might be able to live up to it. But then that team sucks around him. They have no offensive line. You can get them all the weapons you want when you have no time to throw, and you have a terrible coaching staff. It's ridiculous. That kid does not stand a chance up there. Half these talking heads don't know what the heck they're talking about. They know 4 players at most on every team. After that, they don't know any depth on the team. So yeah, they're winging it worse than we are. I say some of our predictions might have been better than theirs.
Our predictions are way more accurate.
You have to be stupid. You have to be stupid to think the Steelers aren't going to finish above 500. You have to be stupid to think that the Kansas City Chiefs aren't going to be able to playoff hunt. You have to be stupid to think Buffalo. Okay, I may have said Buffalo is going to drop off. But yeah, so I may have been stupid there. But you have to be stupid to think some of these teams weren't going to bounce back. you can't get caught up in the hype of free agency and of the draft. You have to look at these rosters objectively, and none of them did. They won't buy hype and to have that hot take, and now they all look like idiots.
Let me give you can I give you some life advice? In the NFL, there's good franchises, there's Brett and bad franchises. And if you would
Mm-hmm.
take a shot at the beginning of the year and throw a dart and say that the Steelers were going to have a average to better season, chances are you're going to be correct because they are a good franchise. And if you look historically all the way back to 1970, this franchise wins a lot of football games. And if somebody says, "Well, you have a lot of good seasons, why don't you win Super Bowls?" We won more Super Bowls than anybody else. Ask that person how many Super Bowls their team is winning
Mm-hmm.
and go from there. Now, you look at a team like the Bears, are historically bad. That can't be, it's just a bad franchise. It's not ran
Yeah.
well, like a lot of teams are in the NFL. In that team, I said at the beginning of the year, I said, it's not going to matter. I said, these guys aren't going to be good. I don't care if Caleb Williams came down from the clouds. This is still not a good football team. And it was, brought to my attention that, you know what, the Fields had, he had nice weapons up there. They built a nice little team around him. He had a few receivers. It was getting better, and things should go well for these Chicago Bears in the 20, whatever year this is, 2024.
2024.
And I said, no, it's just a bad franchise, and they're not going to be good. They could pick the number one draft pick from here for the next 13 years. Them and the Browns, they're just not going to be good. You say, Ryan, they won a Super Bowl. Ryan, they went to another Super Bowl. The sun shines on a dog's ass every now and then. You're going to have teams that come out of nowhere, have good seasons. You're going to have your Tampa Bays. They're going to win a Super Bowl every 15 years. You're going to have it's almost like looking into a crystal ball. You don't have to guess. Just look into your ball and go on what you know. And what I know is the Steelers have a good organization. The Ravens have a good organization. Guess what? They're probably going to fall off one day when Mahomes is not there anymore. They were always an average. They were into average, but they
Mm-hmm.
do have that piece right now, the same as the New England Patriots had Tom Brady. Tom Brady hasn't been there. What's the New England Patriots done since then? It's not hard. Around, look in your crystal ball, see what you know, and go from there. Make a hypothesis because that's the only way you're going to get a good feel. Again, if you listen to the experts, good morning, Phil. If you listen to the experts, Mike, they're going to tell you that Chicago Bears are a top team. They're going to tell you the Steelers are a bottom team. And right off the top, from just topically what I know, I'm going to tell you that that's wrong.
Yeah.
And even if you're wrong every once in a while, say the Steelers don't have a good team, or say the Bears do have a good team, it's not going to last. Again, look in your crystal ball. You could be a lot more accurate than these professionals are, and you usually.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to. And I'm not the kind of guy that's going to sit here and say all the things that we've done better than people, but we did this better than everybody. We told you that Caleb Williams, it wasn't going to make a difference. It's not going to make a difference, especially in a division that's thriving the way that it is with the Detroit
Yeah.
Lions, Minnesota, and Green Bay. It's not going to happen, and it's not going to happen next year. So when you listen to the experts, just know that it's not going to happen next year either. The Bears aren't
No.
going to be in the Super Bowl. I promise you.
No. Like if they would have listened to us, like the Bears organization, if the Bears were ran like the Steelers, they would have said, all right, we got this young quarterback. We're going to build around him. Well, you know what we're going to build? We're going to build an offensive line. Yeah, and that's what the Chicago should have done for Justin Fields if they were smart. They would have kept him and built an offensive line because, like you said last year, he was creating that connection with DJ Moore.
And they had a good defense, Mike.
Yeah, they had a good defense already there. You add offensive linemen, you go out, get a couple of the weapons they got in free agency, then you would have success, and then you would build around. You would keep building and building, and then you would have been in better shape. And that's why teams like the Steelers and the Ravens are always successful. not as successful as we as fans want them to be, but always like in contention, competitive. They know how to build a roster. They know how to build a team, and it starts from the top down. Yeah, you're going to have your ups and downs, but there's going to be a whole hell of a lot more ups than downs, and that's why there's poverty franchises in the NFL. Looking at the Jets, the Giants, for the most part, they have little pockets of success, but it's a wasteland out there for a lot of these teams. Look, Detroit was ran terribly for years. Now they finally have football operation in place that makes sense. Now you're seeing the fruit of the labors there. KC, like you said, always been a middling of the road, but you get Andy Reid at the right time. You get Patrick Mahomes at the right time. You strike lightning in the bottle. New England was the same way. They were a joke franchise for the longest time. There's very few pillar franchises. You look at the Steelers, the Ravens, Green Bay, they know how to run organizations and franchises.
And look
And
at the
when
teams
you
by
pick
the
against them,
like,
you're going wrong.
look at the teams by the decade. There, you have
Mm-hmm.
your Niners of the 80s, your Cowboys of the
Yeah.
90s. Okay. Now, did any of those teams have Super Bowl success outside of their decade?
No.
Cowboys slightly. They did do something in the 70s when the Steelers
Yeah.
didn't win. The Cowboys won a couple of Super Bowls.
Yeah. Yeah.
But besides for that, the Steelers won Super Bowls in the 70s. They won Super Bowls in the early 2000s. They was in a Super Bowl in the 90s. It's just it's a good franchise. And again,
Mm-hmm.
people are going to try to tell you they're experts, but again, look into your crystal ball and see what you already know, because look how consistent it holds over the years.
Yeah.
I hate to go to this statistic, but Tomlin not having a losing season in almost 20 years, that speaks a lot about the franchise itself. And then you look at teams like, again, Mike, you were mentioning the Jets, the Giants, the Cardinals. I mean, there's teams that are just systematically bad. So again, it's frustrating to hear, because you're going to debate with people that are going to tell you that the Bears are going to be good. They're going to tell you that the Bears
Yeah.
are going to be in the playoffs, and they're going to tell you that Caleb Williams was going to make a difference in Chicago, when we sat right here on the show and said the opposite. And again, I'm not the kind of like to toot my own horn most of the time, but come on.
I like anyone who like picks against the Steelers to not win at least 8 games every year. You're nuts. They say what you will about Mike Tomlin. He will get you 8 games at minimum. It's we make fun of that record all the time too, but it's never had more or never had less than 8 wins in his career. So you track it down to 17 years. Okay, he's going to get you 8 wins. Now it's going to come down to what kind of decisions is he going to make to how many more are you going to get over 8. And so for the teams to pick us, people that picked us last, I saw some predictions before the seasons had us winning 4 games, 6 games. It's like, get out of here. Yeah, that's when I know you don't know ball at all.
Come on. Yeah. Again, the logo itself gets you enough.
That's what it feels like.
You know,
Especially like with Omar Khan running
prove
things
me
down the
wrong.
front offense. Omar Khan, Andy Weedle, they, my God, the roster that they have built. My God, yeah, like there's holes on the roster, but there's holes on every roster, and they're finding. It's just the Steelers know how to find ways to win. You can
nobody's
just tell
going to
they were
be
going to be
able,
better.
and nobody's going to come to you and say, and they shouldn't come to you and say, well, you haven't won a Super Bowl. It doesn't matter. Again, at the end of the day, and we can still use this as long as it's accurate.
It's accurate. Yep.
And we can say, you have more Super Bowls than we do, then shut up. Nobody has more than we do. So the conversation, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it's ridiculous. It's retarded. Yes, I use the word retarded. I use the R word, but
usually
guys,
you use it when you talk about me. So
I know. So yeah,
I'm glad it just wasn't directed at me for a change.
But
you're fired up today, my friend. I'm loving it.
I just Caleb Williams. That really pissed me. And the thing is, everyone was just so high on him. Oh, they're going to be so good. They're going to win the division.
Went into a terrible situation.
They're in the last place, And again, Mike, I mean, this was a team that was kind of building. They have a nice defense. They really do. Their defense is tough, and they have some decent skill players. They shouldn't be in the worst position possible, but they're working their way. They're 4-5 with their guy. They're superstar that's going to take them there. So
they had a nice that 3-game window, but my God, their head coach terrible, offensive coordinator fired, people can't wait till the owners to sell the team or die eventually. That's how bad that franchise is. They're rooting for like the owners to die and get new owners in there. No matter who you're gonna, Jadian Daniels could have went first overall there, and he might be struggling.
See, I think he would do okay.
I think he would. Oh God, that team.
I think he would be doing better than what's going on there.
That team's trash. You got player. You
That
got
quarterback's trash.
you got you got
He
what
played
you
on the
got what
West Coast, which means
you
he had
got
no
wide receivers
competition.
walking off the field in the middle of a play. You got a bad culture up there.
Well, there's a lot of that in the league, but listen, he's from the West Coast. They played nobody until this year, till they moved into the Eastern conferences. These teams played nobody. And the teams that they
This
played
is
that were
true.
any good, they lost to. They lost to
Yeah.
Oregon. They lost. So I'm still not convinced on him. But anyway, I did not get up this morning and think to myself, I'm going to do
You're like, let's go
a,
to
a
Caleb
quarter of the
Williams
show
today.
on the Chicago Bears. So let's move on, guys. We have a big game this weekend. The Pittsburgh Steelers will be hosting the Baltimore Ravens in a huge matchup. And when I say this, listen, we're a
Huge.
half game up on these guys. If we win, we're going to be a game and a half up on them, and we're going to own the tiebreaker. Okay. If they win, which puts us at a 2-game lead, basically, because it's a game and a half. Even if they tie us at 1.5, they still have to get that tiebreaker back. So basically, if we win this game, we basically have a 2-game lead in the division. If the Baltimore Ravens win, we have right now we're a half game ahead of them. They'll gain that game. They'll be a half game ahead of us, plus the tiebreaker. So it'll just be that much more. Mike, this game is huge as far as trying to win this division, as far as seeding in the playoffs at this point in the season. Or we're gonna have many more opportunities down the road to move around. We do, but there really is no better place to be than the top of
Oh
this
yeah.
division, up by a game and a half, and owning the tiebreaker, head-to-head tiebreaker with the Ravens. This game is huge. Everybody that I'm talking to seems to have a really optimistic feeling about this game. I don't know if I have. I don't know if I'm super optimistic. I think that we're gonna beat these guys 1 of the 2 times this year.
Mhm.
I hope it's this week at home, but a lot of people are very optimistic, Mike, and I don't know if it's unwarranted or because I just don't think this is gonna be an easy game. I think this is gonna be one of the most difficult games they play, and I think that it could go either way. It could come down to a Tucker or a Boswell kick at the end of the game, very well, to decide this game. And again, I hope they are going to win. If I make my pick, I'm going to say they're going to win. But at the end of the day, this may be the toughest game physically and mentally for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's going to be it's against the Ravens. It's going to be a tough game, and I think I predicted a big blowout. I'm still going not a big blow, but a big offensive output for the Steelers. I still think that's going to happen. But like you said, man, it's Ravens, Steelers. Emotions are going to be high. Um, I don't know. See, now you're talking me into like the game might be. Now we might lose. So now you brought me down.
Does anything sound weird on your end?
Nothing sounds weird on my end.
Okay.
I was my
we
tables
do
are
have.
kind of wobbly. It might be picking up that. My mistake. My apologies.
It sounded like a rotary phone every time you talked. But listen, if you can't hear it, nobody's complaining. I'm going to roll with it.
Yeah.
So guys, it's actually this is a huge game. Let me catch up on some things on the board here, guys. Mike went on about these Chicago Bears way too long for me. So let's see. Okay, John, he's from the Jamestown area. Okay, near there. That's up near where Finch is at. Finch said, heading back to the Beeve today. Found a lot of Steeler fans up here. Crazy. John says Pickett is giggling with those sex. Am I getting that right? Did I read that right? Also, those stats.
Those
Perfect.
stats. Those stats.
John said Pickett is giggling with those stats. Field of Steel says good morning. He says take 89 out of the game and number 3 and no 3 and outs by the Steelers offense. And Ernesto, good morning to you. San Diego Steelers number 1. That's right, baby. Steelers, this game is huge, guys. Again, you win this game, you're up a game and a half with the head-to-head tiebreaker at the moment. If you lose, you're down a half a game with them having the tiebreaker, which would basically put you at 1 game out because you have to make that game up on the tiebreaker. So again, though I think this game is vital, they must win. I don't think it's vital. I don't think they must win at this point. But you know what? As we said early in the season, Mike, what do we say during them first 8 games? You got to stack your wins when you could get them. And look where it's helping us. Look where it's helping us. Look where it's helping us. Those wins against those teams early on. And someone said, well, if we don't win this game, you know what? It is important because here we are sitting at 7-2 going into the biggest game of the year at this point. And if we win, again, that puts us up basically 2 games in the division. Uh, I like it, Mike, and again, we have the Browns. We have the Bengals coming up next. So, did you just change something in your audio?
I did not know.
Okay, it sounds like somebody's letting an air out of a tire now. I don't know what goes on over there.
What the heck's going on with my audio right now?
But, so, Mike, again, if they do win, the Steelers are sitting pretty, and on top of that, one of these 2 teams are gonna lose this weekend, the Kansas City Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills. They play one another. So that makes things better for the Steelers. If you win this game, you're sitting pretty. If you're a Pittsburgh Steeler fan, again, you'll be basically 2 games up in the division. It's 1.5 game lead plus the tiebreaker, and one of those other 2 teams that are sitting ahead of us are gonna lose. Buffalo's either gonna drop down to the same record that we have, or Kansas City's going to fall out of being undefeated, which ultimately, with a half a season left, some stuff can still happen. On top of we get Kansas City at the very end of the year, second to last game. So again, is this game vital? Is it a must win? It's not, but it is. It's not, but it is.
I understand. Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying. Because if they win this, we go what? No, a game and a we get even further ahead of them, and I want that. I want that last game that we play against the Ravens to be a meaningless game in the standings, to where it's not. Oh, what was worse than yesterday?
No, he was just saying that sounded bad yesterday.
Oh, okay. I was worried. No, yeah, I treat this game like a must win. You know, it's the Ravens. It's the first game in the division. That's going to be the first tiebreaker. Um, I'm doing whatever I can to win this game. I'm pulling out whatever kind of plays I have in the playbook that can catch them off guard, and I'm using them. Maybe not a fake punt inside my own 15 this time. I think that might be ill-advised against
I
the
know that was
Ravens.
screwy.
And
Come on.
that would be ill-advised this week. That's something you do pull off on the road against an out-of-conference opponent. But Baltimore, I'm reaching into my bags of tricks, using formations they haven't seen before, using pass concepts we haven't used before, maybe use some run block schemes that we haven't used before, and use them against the Ravens. We have to do whatever we can to win this game, get further out ahead of them, get a little bit more of a cushion, because we kind of botched 2 wins along the way. We should, if Russ plays, or if the team plays crisper in those 2 back-to-back losses, we could be sitting here undefeated with Kansas City. Those losses weren't devastating, but I'd love to have those 2 wins back and be even further ahead of Baltimore, to where we win this one, we gaining more ground. But yeah, treat this one as a must win. But if you lose, yeah, I think this team's mature enough now to realize it's not going to matter, and you just get back on the horse and you keep going. But yeah, win this game, treat it as a must win, because it's Ravens week. That should be a must win for everyone involved. And I think people like Deshaun Elliott and Patrick Queen are going to be fired up to go up against the Ravens again.
I know, John. You know what? I'm just so paranoid from yesterday. You know what the thing about it was? I couldn't hear it on my end, and that's what bugs me the most, because I couldn't monitor how bad it was. And then when I went back to the show and watched it afterward, I was just I was sick. It sounded that bad. So that's all. I'm a little paranoid.
I just went back, Ryan. I got the live going on my phone. I checked. Audio sound good. I at one point that my connection was just a little bit choppy. So I'm sounding
All right, see,
good on
like
my
right
end.
now,
You
I'm
were
hearing.
sounding good.
Oh,
We're,
there
we're
it is.
sounding good. I went and double checked. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit choppy. A
Because
little bit
every
of a
once in a
connection
while,
issue.
like just there when you started talking, I heard that error. It sounded like error
Yeah,
draining out. Then it stopped. So I don't know what's going on. Sounds
it
like
could be the way my mic's positioned or something like that. Yeah, I don't know what's going on right there.
Mike, we do have some interesting things going on in this game. But
Yes, we
first,
do.
let me talk about the injury report, guys. I do have the Steelers injuries. I do know some of the Ravens injuries. So let's check this out, guys. This is as of yesterday at practice. These people were at full participation. Najee Harris with his ankle. Siamalu with he was just had a rest day, a veteran rest day. Herbig with his hammy, and Corey Trice with his hammy. Who we're not going to see Corey Trice yet, but he was fully active at practice. On your limited practice list was Van Jefferson with his quad and Dante Jackson with his hammy. And finally, on the did not participate was, and I you know what, and I appreciate that very much, John. Thank you. You guys are the best. I don't just Throw that out there. Guys, also yesterday, that did not participate was Jalen Warren, I'm sorry. He has a back. He just came up with a back injury. So Jalen Williams did not participate yesterday. Michael Pruitt was out with a knee. Cam was out on one of his rest days. And CJ Henderson, he managed to get hurt already, and he hasn't played a single down yet here in Pittsburgh. CJ Henderson, we brought in for a little bit of help. The former All-Pro.
He's fitting right in.
He fits right in.
He's a Steeler, baby.
And to say that we got as far as we did with all these injuries and all the issues this year, I mean, that's even more impressive.
Oh, yeah. Especially like the key injuries that they have been. That's the sickening part. They've all been key starters. The one injury that scares me on here is Dante Jackson. Because we need him. Because if you have no Corey Trice, I hope, man.
I think they babied him pretty much all week. And
I think that's kind of like what it sounded like. Dante was saying it was like more of a load management issue, just keeping it fresh for the week. So
also some scoop on the game, guys. Arthur Smith hinted at a Justin Fields package that might be rolled out this week. In particular, I know we heard the rumors.
Yeah.
I knew that this has been talked about in the past. But you know what? Slipping a Justin Fields package, it might be a lot of fun. Unless he comes in there and fumbles the ball and turns it over, and we never want to do it ever again.
I know. See, that's what scares me about everyone's chomping at the bit for it. What if they finally give the fans what they want? We catch a team off guard. We got Fields out there, and it blows up in our face.
Right.
Which the blowback, the backlash is going to be epic. It's going to be legendary.
They'll have Fields and Tomlin's head both on a platter.
Oh yeah, and it'll be the people leading the charge for the call of wanting that to happen. Will be the ones out there saying it's the dumbest thing happened. Because I know, it's going to be you. Because we'll watch the game together. Oh man, we need Fields in here right now. Then Russ will get a touchdown. I'm like, all right. Yeah, and you be the first one to go. These dumbasses, why did they do that? Yes, I'm exposing you right now.
Yeah, that's all right.
But no,
that's why I'm always right. That's how
you play both sides.
That's
baby.
Right.
No, I wouldn't mind seeing a Justin Fields package, but do we want to unveil it in the heated rivalry with the Ravens? But like I said, we got to reach into our bag of tricks. I don't want to be a hypocrite, so do it. But it better work, because I will be out there shoulder to shoulder with you saying that was the dumbest decision I've ever seen in my life.
No, we'll argue about it for the first hour. We'll unfriend each other, and then it'll be okay, and then we'll totally agree on it, and and die on the hill together.
That's how it works, bro. That's
usually the direction that it goes. But yes, we may see a Justin Fields package tomorrow, which could be interesting.
Yeah, he said it's been in there. They just haven't had a chance to use it. So
again, and then the injuries, we went over that. I do know that Vinoy did not practice for them. He was ill, but he was back at full participation yesterday. And likely, I think, as far as starters, guys that have notable names, I know that he was out, but he is likely going to play. Not too many injuries.
Kyle Hamilton, their safety, he's still limited in practice with an ankle injury. I know he was out there jogging with the team. I don't know his status, because if he doesn't play, that's huge. That's a huge loss in the middle of their secondary.
You know what? They don't have a great defense anyway, so any loss is a big loss for Baltimore.
I know, yeah, and this guy's been dropping interceptions left and right. I don't want him out there, because this would be the week where he starts catching the ball.
But as we did mention Corey Trice a little bit earlier, Corey Trice did return to practice, but remains on the injured reserve list. I think that's going to be so big when we get him back in there, just to have that big body, Mike, in the secondary, at any given time on pass plays. I think that goes a long way. So Corey Trice, I'm waiting for him. When the minimal amount of time he played, he had an interception and he had some big plays. So if you keep this guy healthy, he's going to make plays for you in the secondary. And you know what, Mike? On the other hand, people Joey Porter's catching a little bit of heat. You know what? This is only his second full season in the NFL.
Yeah,
the guy is going to make a mistake every now and then. We're lucky that we've got this far, and he hadn't made many mistakes. He's got as far as he had. He's been playing really well. he gets in a little trouble in the past couple games and people are ready to shoot him.
Yeah.
I think that he's going to be fine. I think, as I said, getting these other guys back healthy, getting Cam Sutton, as we did last week, back into the secondary, I think
Hmm.
Joey Porter Jr. is going to be fine. It isn't like he's on a bad team. He's going to be struggling on that
Yeah.
island alone. There's a lot going on in this defense that could certainly help him along the way. So,
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of good things going on our defense, Mike. And the healthier we get, the better we're going to be. And that seems to be the trend for us.
Yeah, and real quick, I'm going to start with Joey Porter. If people want to get down on him, go look at the Jets. Sauce Gardner, his first 2 years in the league, arguably the best cornerback in the league. This year, he is having a terrible year. Like, Jet fans are already wanting him cut, traded, drawn, quartered, tarred, and feathered. So it's going to happen. It happens to all great corners. You get put on an island, you're going to have a bad game. It's not like he was going up against some bub. McLaurin's one of the most underrated receivers in the league. So, and what we've seen from Porter in the small sample size this year and a half, he's going to bounce back. He's going to, you have those games and you just put it behind you. And he seems to be that corner where if he gets beat for a play, he doesn't let it affect him the next play. I don't see him letting back to back a bad game affect him the next game. And then Corey Trice, another big, tall, rangy corner, which is what the Steelers want. You have him, Dante, and Joey Porter. That's a nice mix right there. Beanie on the inside, Cam Sutton on the inside. Oh my God, that I'm salivating at that secondary. It's not quite the Legion of Boom, but it's one of the better secondaries in the NFL. I can't wait to see Corey Trice back because that interception you talked about. I remember during the broadcast, they were saying that was like a veteran interception. He read the play, knew when to break off his receiver and cover the free receiver. I can't wait to get him back because talent wise, he was a first round pick. Injury wise, he was a seventh round pick, and that's why we got him in the seventh round. Because if this guy can ever stay healthy, him and Porter on the outside, with Dante Jackson being that veteran backup, look the F out.
I do want to say good morning to Jenna on the board. Also, good morning to 007. 007 says the Ravens defense will be their
Mhm.
downfall. The Ravens have allowed 300 yards passing in three times, including 421 last week. John says 007, that is why the Steelers should come out throwing the rock all over the yard. I agree. Guys, also, we believe that we get penalized a lot, and we do. The Ravens are the most penalized team in the league. They've had committed 80 to this moment, 80
Ooh.
penalties this season. The Steelers in the middle of the pack. We've committed 57, and the team that was penalized the least this year is the Cincinnati Bengals with 44 penalties against them. But that Ravens is way up there. The only teams that are close to them are the Jets, who are 70. They have 75 penalties committed. Again, the Ravens, the most penalized team this year. So maybe we could get that to play to our advantage a little bit. Have them just because they're good. They're a really good football team. Again, the offense is going to be a struggle for us. I don't know what to expect. I'm going to be honest, but it's going to be a great game. Mike, if you're thinking about the guys that make sacks in the Ravens and Steelers game, here is the most sacks in the Steelers Ravens matchup in history. All-time leader. Now, this is including playoffs between these two teams.
Mm-hmm.
This only with these two teams. Terrell Suggs leads the way. He has the most sacks in this series ever with 20. Terrell Suggs leads
Ooh.
the way. He had 20 sacks against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 2 on this list, I got the top 5. James Harrison, 19. He has 19. James Harrison had 19 sacks in this series. TJ Watt, 16. He's still active. He could
Ooh.
certainly pass the two fellows in front of him if he,
He
continues to
can
be
do it this
productive
year.
and stay around long enough. Also, number 4, Lamar Woodley, 11 and a half.
Yeah, he showed up
That's
big time in this rivalry.
that's the 4th most amount of sacks in this rivalry. And Haloti Nata, we talked about him the other day, breaking Ben's nose, 8.5 sacks. Mike, he has 8.5 sacks, or had in this series. That's your top 5 sack leaders in the Steelers Ravens rivalry, the history of these two
Mm.
teams. Again, Suggs with 20, Harrison with 19, Watt with 16, Woodley with 11.5, and Yata with 8.5.
A thing with all those names that you read there, as a Steeler fan, you would love to have Suggs and you would love to have Nada on your team. And as a Ravens fan, you would want Woodley, Harrison, and Watt on your team. It's like a who's who of defensive players from that era of guys that you just did not want to face. And so what's the best rivalry in football? And real quick, I want to touch back to what 007 was saying about that Baltimore's passing
Yeah, man.
defense. They are averaging 2.2 touchdowns against their pass defenses. That's the worst in the NFL. The
Wow.
worst. The worst. Pittsburgh were fifth at point 0.9.
So we wonder,
So,
Mike, when we say
whew,
how does this team lose to teams like the Raiders? How does this team lose to teams like the
like
Browns?
that.
They certainly are porous. There's holes in this team that you don't see on the topical level. You see Derrick Henry mowing people over and then running the ball for 70 yards. You see, Lamar doing whatever that is that he does. And, that they have things going on pretty good. But again, they lead the league in penalties committed. They are giving up 1,000,000 yards in the passing game. So again, if we can exploit those things and maintain the things that are going to be extremely difficult to stop, I think that we can win this football game. And again, Mike, our special teams, our defense, and our offense, you pair them up against the Ravens special teams, defense, and offense. I think we
Mhm.
win that 2 out of 3. I think we have better special teams and a better defense. Let's say they have a better offense. I don't know if it's that much better than ours to where that can make that big of a difference, Mike, because we do have a pretty good offense. We're putting points on the board now. We got guys coming in from other teams who want to make they want to make a statement. I don't think that we're head and shoulders. They're that much better on offense, but they do. You can't take it away from them. They have a Derrick Henry. Lamar Jackson could be a threat on any given play.
Oh yeah.
And again, these young wide receivers they got. So I think 2 out of the 3 facets of the game, Mike, I think that we have the
Hmm.
advantage, but that doesn't mean I don't think that we can't
No.
win.
No, and like our offense can, as we saw in the past 3 games with Russ, we can put up points to match their offense putting up points. Is it going to be as flashy as their offense? No, I think their offense, they're able to get those big chunk plays more consistently than we are because Lamar is able to hit the middle of the field more consistently than Russ is. That's just the way they play. But that deep ball that Russ plays, that we have yet to see a team stop it. You know, so until they do, I'm not afraid going up against any of these offenses or any other team and matching points with their offense. I think this is going to be one of those weird Steeler Ravens games where a lot of points is scored by both teams, and normally you don't see that. I think
I'm seeing a lot of people saying that. I
yeah,
don't agree with it.
I know, but it's just the way how porous their defense is and how our
Right.
defense. Like, if we can't stop the run, it's going to be a long day for our defense. If they can't stop the pass, it's going to be a long day for their defense. So it's one of these teams has to lock down one of the facets of the game. Because what scares me most in this game is Derrick Henry and his legs. Because if they can get the run game going, and then you can get the play action going and the speed option going with Lamar and Derrick Henry, it can be a long day for us because if they can control the clock with the ground game and limit our ability, because our offense is slow starting and we're a second half team, and my big key is that offense has to come out firing on all cylinders right away.
All right, we'll be getting into the keys to the winning, the over and under shortly. And Mike, I just got a few more things I do want to talk about. You talking about Russell Wilson's success so far and being able to score points and people not being able to stop it. Well, if you like Russell Wilson, he came out with this quote, Mike. He says, "I definitely want to play another 5 to 7 more years." Wait a minute, isn't Russell Wilson 42, 43 years old?
No, he's not in his 40s. He's in
What is he?
the 30,
36?
30 something. Yeah. He's an
So
old
7
man.
years would put him at about 43 years old. That's the point I was trying to make. But
Hey, that
you
ain't
know what? If he
bad.
continues to play with the motivation that he has since he's came
He's
here,
35.
I will take him for the next at least 5 of those years, Mike. But of
Like,
course, he's gonna.
real quick, would you offer him a contract right now if you were the Steelers?
I don't know. I have to wait to
I
see how
did,
the
me
season
too.
plays
Yeah,
out.
I know
It's still early.
well, it is
Because
early,
he wants
but
a lot of money. That's the thing. He's going to
yeah,
require
I
some
know.
money.
Yep.
Roger,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
Roger.
Roger
You're
said he's
35.
35.
Yeah.
Also, Mike, between these, let me see. 1, 2. Hey, Mark Malone, how you doing, brother? Mark says, "I wonder if we stay in the 3-4 most of the time that they usually do against the Ratbirds."
Yeah. Instead of going to what nickel like we normally have,
I'm
I
gonna give
I
you
wouldn't be
6.
opposed to it.
I'm gonna give you 6 names. This
All
is gonna
right.
kind of go. Let me see. All right, yeah, I'm gonna give you 6 names. Tell me who is gonna make the biggest impact this week. Arthur Millette, Deontay Johnson. I'm sorry, there's 5 names. Arthur Millette, Deontay Johnson, Jeremiah Moon, Deshaun Elliott or Patrick Queen. All guys that played for the opposite team. They played for the enemies. They're behind
Mm.
enemy lines. Mike, of those 5 guys, who has the biggest game this Sunday? Again, Patrick Queen, Deshaun Elliott, Jeremiah Moon, Deontay Johnson, and Arthur Millette.
Ooh. Jeremiah Moon, no. Unless he plays out of his mind in like the 4 snaps he's going to get. No. I'm going to go. I know Queen's been coming on strong, but I'm going to Deshaun Elliott because he's been flying around all year long.
He's
We've been waiting for a splash play from Minka in the secondary, getting some picks. I'm looking for Deshaun Elliott to have an interception this game. That's going to be pivotal, like a back-breaking interception.
right.
And I look for him because there's video out there of him steamrolling Derrick Henry in the open field. I look for him to channel an inner Ryan Clark and just put his body on the line for the team and just thumping Henry all game long to keep him in check. So I'm going Deshaun Elliott.
I think so too. Deshaun Elliott's gonna have a big game. I think everybody on the board agrees with you, Mark and Phil. They both agree. Mike see,
I'm sorry.
Mike's attention span is a very small guy.
It is bad. I end up reading and I start laughing. I forget there's
He's in the middle
here. We got a show
middle
going.
of telling you something. What is Wilson supposed to say? I can only play 1 p.m. game. You know what? It wouldn't surprise you in this league anymore. You know what? And then you have guys like Andrew Luck calling it. So, I mean, for a guy to say that I'm looking forward to playing 7 more years, which will put him at 42, 43 years old. That's the only point that I was trying to make. It's just, it's kind of funny with Russ. Also, if not Russ, then who? Roger says. I don't have that answer, Roger. Again, we have to look, see how the rest of the season plays out. Again, you know, you can throw a bunch of money at Russell Wilson, who was out for 2.5 months with a tight calf. You know, at the end, you know, maybe he leaves the game with a tight calf this Sunday. We don't see him for the rest of the year. You don't know. You don't know.
Fuck you.
Considering that he was out
Ryan,
the first 90 days of the season with a tight calf, again, I would be hesitant to start throwing money at him. I think it could be a good idea. But again, I have to see the season play out before I make that call.
Well, like he's also
yes, absolutely, Roger.
Yeah.
You eventually have to. Yes, I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree with you more. We have a good situation run right now. I don't know if this is the future of the team, but it's working for us right now. It may work for us for a few years if we decide to go that route. But again, we have to wait to see how this one plays out. There's a lot of football left.
Oh my! So now I'm ready for draft talk. I've had too much coffee, boys.
Let me catch Jenna real quick. Jenna says, punch. Hold on, where'd she go? There she goes. Punch Lamar in the mouth right away. Absolutely. TJ's going to have a big day, and Queen is spying Lamar and containing him. You know what? Best case scenario, and I think that's what we're going to want to do. You're going to want to get to Lamar. He's not an average guy who stands in a pocket where if you get to him, it's a different kind of get to him because he's so elusive, but you got to keep him maintained. Absolutely. I mean, eventually, let's see. Roger says, I mean, eventually we have to draft. Okay, we got that. Yeah, but that's 90 days of no wear and tear. I guess you could look at it that way.
Yeah, and
I
don't think he's hitting that sled again.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, is he still hitting the sled at practice? I think that's what he.
So I don't think next year in conditioning that's going.
I don't think ever in the history of mankind anybody had their quarterback hitting a sled. It's such a weird situation. I don't understand how that happened. They have to draft a quarterback either way. John, I agree with you 100%. It's just unfortunate that we're always a little too good. You're never able to get that guy because you're never that far up in the draft. Jenna says Arthur Millette's in a walking boot yesterday. He talks, but he's not playing. Man. Yeah.
Millette gaps his gums so much.
Look at this guy.
This is what I like to see.
This guy, angry Baltimore Ravens defense coming for you. Baltimore, the last AFC North team to win the Super Bowl. Oh, wow. How long ago was that? Mark, I don't think he ever did it.
He hit that sled. Yeah, I think he hit the sled. I think he hit the sled, and it was like, you know what? I'm going to milk this injury for a while.
See, here's the thing. If you talk about that Super Bowl, then you have to talk about the Steelers having way more Super Bowls than they do. Because if he's going back in the past to pull up a game that they won that's more recent and whatever, then you have to be able to use your 6 Super Bowl card.
I just want to what angries Ravens defense, because it has not been angry this year. It's sad. And that's what's like depressing, because I was looking forward to a physical game against that Ravens defense, and they're softer than Charmin right now.
Spice, hey, how you doing, Spice? Now, you know what? The only reason I did that for that that particular question, I was just trying to prove the point of how many people were on each other's team, that were from the other.
That's
That's
wild.
that's
But like
I
they're
didn't think Mark or
5.
Millette would be able to do anything, to be honest with you.
But that would be like the type of role player that was here and a role player there that would come back to bite us in the ass. It would
P
be
says Steeler
someone like
fans act
that.
like they want to be the Cardinals. I do want to say, hey P, how you doing, my man?
What up,
Um,
Pete?
no, I agree with you, Raven fan. I'm just talking shit just like you are, my man.
That's why it's the
But
best rivalry in football. Even the
there's no
fans
team that I
know.
respect more in the NFL than the Baltimore Ravens. So, um, Mark says, imagine this. Welcome, Russ. Good to have a 12-year veteran quarterback. Now hit that sled, boy. Come on. Who puts their quarterback on a sled? Who? Who?
No one
I don't.
puts
Again, I
baby in
don't
the
think that
corner.
ever happened in the history of mankind. Nobody's ever put their
Like
quarterback on a sled.
only in Pittsburgh, man. Only I swear the
When I
Pirates must
played
have came.
termites, they didn't even put our quarter. The quarterback didn't even throw in termites. But you know what? He didn't hit the sled either. I can
You
tell
know
you
what?
that.
It's like the Pirates conditioning coach came over and said, "Hey, this is what we boys. This is what we do. It should
Yeah.
work for you guys."
John says if the Steelers get a 10-point lead and put pressure on Jackson and different blitzes, as I said earlier, guys, I think that both this is going to be a really good game. It's going to be a really good game. No two ways about it.
Mm,
TJ's been quiet. Time to earn that big paycheck. Maybe he's due. You're right.
he's
Maybe
due.
he is
He's due.
due. Guys, we are getting to that point in the show. We do have to move along a little bit. Just an interesting number for you guys. Do you know that the very first game that the Pittsburgh Steelers played the Baltimore Ravens, Jerome Bettis ran for 116 yards and had a touchdown in the very
No
first
way.
Raven Steeler game? Yes, Jerome Bettis doing his thing, 116 yards, one touchdown, many, many moons ago, moving in on 30 years. But guys, Mike, I already got your answer to this, but I want to hear it again,
Okay.
just because I love to hear you talk.
Oh,
Mike,
as you should.
keys to beating the Ravens. Give me a rundown one more time of what you believe the keys to beating this team on Sunday will be.
Mm, mm.
I
One,
think a lot of people on the board has been hitting it on the head. They've been making a
yeah.
lot of good points, and
It's just my God. Pass, pass, and then pass some more. That Ravens defense, not only are they giving up a ton of yards, like I said, they're averaging 3 touchdowns against once again the most penalized team in the NFL.
80
They're
penalties.
80 penalties, which is weird for a Harbaugh coach team.
I just think
The,
that the defense doesn't have its usual discipline.
no, it
They're
doesn't.
physical. The discipline's just not there.
Yeah, but we hit the when the big play is there to be hit the big play, because not only are they bad at giving up a lot of yards, their big plays against percentage wise is the worst in the NFL in the pass game and the run game. You can hit the big plays, so when that deep ball is there, make sure you catch it. Make sure you hit your receiver in stride. So hit those opportunities. Keep Derrick Henry in check. If Lamar Jackson beats me, so be it. He's a 2-time MVP, whether you like it or not. If he beats you, I'm okay with that. I don't want Derrick Henry to beat me, because if he can get that run game going, that offense becomes more unpredictable. You don't know. They can start hitting that play action, start hitting bootlegs, keep Derrick Henry in check. Offense, hit the big plays while they are there. It's Steelers Ravens. Scheme goes out the window. You know,
Mike,
stop their run game, hit the big pass plays.
have you ever
Go,
seen
baby.
in the big city when there's a group of kids that get into a fight and then there's one kid they're fighting with and that big group chases that one person? I'm
Yeah.
starting to see that happen on the board. Uh, everybody is going in on the attack on Raven 76. I got to give him credit. He has balls, but you know what? I agree with
I
everybody on the
like
board.
them.
I think we're gonna get this big win this
Oh,
weekend over the Ravens. But you know what? Got to respect him for this.
yeah.
Let's
Muse,
see.
Muse, Muse, Muse.
Yeah,
I
let's get.
forgot. Uh, Mark Andrews, can sometime anyone in the Steelers, I've been alive for 43 years, watching football for probably 40, can someone in the Steelers organization cover a flipping tight end?
All right,
Someone,
so
anyone.
let's see. Spice says they're doubling TJ. You know that's gonna happen. P says Russ has never been respected as a sort of black quarterback. Um, he had to win games. Absolutely. You know what? I think he's certainly getting mad love here. I can tell you that. Uh there's nobody in the city that isn't loving Russell Wilson right now. I can tell you that. Um Let's see. Jenna says, "Come see us on Monday, and we will see." It's going to be a great game. I agree with her 100%. This is going to be an amazing
It's
game.
gonna be a damn good
And
game.
again, it should be a primetime game, but the Steelers have been having a lot lately. A Monday, 2 Thursdays I mean 2 Sunday nights, a Thursday coming up next week. That I believe is the only reason that this one is not primetime, but it may be the best game right up there with Buffalo and Kansas City. No two ways about it. The Ravens, yes, Brian said that they are penalized most in the league. That's 80 times that they've been
It's
penalized,
nuts.
way out ahead. Phil still says, I bet the Ravens viewer doesn't put down Ravens played like someone who saying about what.
Yep.
I think that
Raven
goes back to
76. Yeah,
Brian.
yo. Yeah, one of our regulars always talks
Yes.
trash on TJ Watt and
Let's
Feel the
see.
Steel sticks up for TJ.
007 says Raven fan in Pittsburgh with a terrible towels flying. You dreaming? John says Muse should get fed this game. I think so too. P says Ravens are still playing football. That's against the script. Jen, the comment was from Brian. Also, Raven,
He's not wrong. He's not wrong, but we still won the game.
we beat what does it say? It says we beat you guys last. Our receivers
That
dropped
last
it.
game, yeah, they dropped 3 touchdown passes in
Well,
that
I
game.
mean, we did win 10 of the last 14, 7 of the last 8. So let's get a couple more wins for Baltimore before we keep that argument going.
Yeah.
Also, John, let's see, time to chat on the Steelers podcast while his mom makes him a sandwich. Again, I'm seeing them all start to chase. Mike, you like I said, you see that scene in the city when there's that one kid and there's the 30 kids that go chasing.
I love it though. I love it. My man is still here. I'm loving it.
He's a beast. Mike, we do have to move on to the over and under. We are at that part of the show. Guys, Mike, here we go. This is the over or under. I'll give you a number. You tell me if it's going to be over or under. Russell Wilson, 1.5 touchdown passes, Mike. Over or under?
Over.
Over 1.5. All right. Najee Harris, a half a touchdown run. Over or under?
Over.
George Pickens, a half a touchdown, Mike.
Over, baby. George is going to have a good one.
Mike Williams, 4.5 catches. Over or under?
Ooh. I'm going to go 4.5. I'm going to go over.
Pat Freiermuth, a half a touchdown.
Patty Fry get a touchdown? No. He's going to have a good game.
Chris Boswell, 2.5 field goals. Over or under?
Bozzy? Yeah, he's going to Boz is going to show up. We haven't had to use him, so yeah, he's getting the over.
And finally, on offense, we're going to commit 1.5 turnovers, Mike. Over or under? Steelers committing 1.5 turnovers. Over or under?
Over, baby. Over.
All right, over to the defense. Are we going to force 1.5 turnovers?
Yes, we are, baby. Yes,
right.
Yes, we are.
Patrick Queen, Mike, 5.5 tackles.
Yeah, he's gonna be flying around. Hopefully,
I hope he has the best.
I want that controlled energy from him. Yeah.
All
Don't
right.
over pursue.
Mike, Cam Hayward, is he a half sack? Does he get a sack or no this weekend? A half a sack.
Clam, no.
Okay.
He's not going to fall on anyone, but I'm looking for him to provide some good, consistent pressure.
All right. TJ Watt, a half sack. Does he get his hands on Lamar Jackson in the backfield or no?
Yes, he does. He rises to the occasion, and he will have over a sack.
Finally, Mike Preston Smith, does he have a half sack? Over or under? Newcomer taking Alex Highsmith's place for the week. Big role. He's playing a big role in this game.
Yeah, he's playing a big role. I'm going under. He's not going to have a sack, but I think he's going to provide good edge. He's going to set the edge over there. He's a big body guy. Yeah, he's going to set the edge over there, helping the run game more than the pass game, more than providing pressure.
And one more here, Mike, the one that everybody dreads every week. Significant injury to to one of our players? Do we lose somebody, a starter, somebody who's highly productive? Do we lose somebody this weekend, as we have pretty much every game this year?
It has, and I think I've been taking the under most of it. I'm going to take the over to break the curse.
Okay.
No one, they're going to be little minor injuries, nothing significant.
All right, guys, let me hit a couple other Pittsburgh sports notes here, and we're going to get to the trivia of the day. This hour is going a lot faster than I wanted it to. The Penguins back in action tonight. They will be at the Columbus Blue Jackets. That starts at 7 o'clock. If you like the Pens, you could catch them tomorrow night as well, as the Sharks come to town to play the Penguins tomorrow at Columbus today. Sharks coming here tomorrow. College basketball tonight. The Pitt Panthers play West Virginia. Backyard brawl goes to the hardwood. This time it's here in our yard. College football, some big games going on. Mike, Pitt and Clemson. That game's at noon tomorrow. It's been 8 years yesterday since Pitt upset the number 2 Clemson, hoping to get the win over them once again. The Penn State Nittany Lions, they host Purdue. Penn State coming in as number 4 on the season. That game's at 3:30. Ohio State, they will be hosting Northwestern at 12. Ohio State's number 2 overall. In West Virginia, they are hosting Baylor. Also, Mike, the Pittsburgh Pirates news. Paul Skeens is named to the first team all-star team in the major leagues. This is not only this award, it's like the overall all-star team for the season they do.
Oh,
He
yeah.
won that. He also was the all-star starter in the all-star game. He also is a Cy Young finalist and also a Rookie of the Year finalist. Enjoy him while he's in Pittsburgh, everybody. There's nothing that this guy hasn't been able to accomplish since he's been here. So maybe, just maybe, he might be able to maybe get the Pirates over that hump while he's here, but we will see on that. Finally, guys, high school football is big in the area, Western Pennsylvania. 2 teams out of our particular county, the Central Valley Warriors. They'll be playing Elizabeth Forward at Montour. That game is tonight at 7 o'clock. And also Elwood City will be taking on South Park at North Allegheny. That game is at 7 o'clock as well. Mike, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about the website?
The Two Dumb Users, everyone check it out, especially if you're new here. We got all of our links over there for social media. New link to the Discord server is over there as well. Check that out as well. Merch store over at the2dumbusers.com and Dumb Thoughts by me, all at the2dumbusers.com. Everyone check it out.
Go check it out, everybody. www.the2dumbusers.com. A lot of cool things over there. Mike, it's time for trivia. This is the last Ravens trivia this week. Of course, we'll be doing more later on in the season, but put on your thinking caps, everybody. Hey, good afternoon, Yinzer Joe. Nice to see you. Put on your thinking caps, everybody on the board, everybody at home. Here we go. What was distinct about the final score of the Steelers-Ravens games in the inaugural Ravens season? It was 1996, Baltimore's first year. What was the distinct? There's something distinct about the scores of that game, or those games that year, in the very first year that the Ravens and the Steelers faced off in 96. I'll give you a hint. A hint that kind of has nothing to do with anything, but the Ravens did finish 4-12 in their inaugural season. Mike, what was distinct about the final score of those 2 games when they played the Ravens? I'll give you a moment. We are live. We're live 5 days a week right here, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every Monday through Friday, right here on YouTube. All right, Mike, what was distinct about the final scores of the Steelers-Ravens game in the very first season that the Ravens were a team?
I don't know. They were scoregamis, like the first time we've ever seen those scores. That's what I'm going with. That's what I'm going with. They were scoregamis.
Is that what you're going? Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer. They were scoregamis.
All right, got you locked in. P says 2-point difference. Just guessing. Good guess. Just another second. Again, these trivia of the day. What was distinct about the final scores of the Steelers-Ravens games in the inaugural season of the Baltimore Ravens? This was 1996. All right. The answer, guys, to that question is the first time we played them, we won 31-17. The second time we played them, They won 31-17.
Oh,
The same exact score by both teams in the inaugural season in their win over the other team. 31-17 was the score of both of those games in favor of both teams. So that was kind of an interesting set of numbers. I thought I just have to figure out a way to word that. You know what I mean? It's an interesting
yeah.
statistic, but how do you word that? I anything going on the board, Mike?
Uh, let's see. We got some. Yeah. Yeah, we got Steelers D needs to be concerned about Patrick Queen. He can't cover tight ends. That's when I was like, yeah, we haven't been able in 40 years. But
Yeah.
Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, they both scare me. Tight ends always do well against the Steelers, dating back to Dick LeBeau to now. And that's going to be a tough one. I do like this comment right here. You know, Danny Smith, he's going to be the one who gets injured, and it's going to be by his own players.
Yeah.
And if that happens, I'm sure it's going to be after a huge pivotal play, and he would be okay with it. Danny Smith will take one for the team. I like this little back and forth we got here. They have plenty of air targets. They do. They have a lot of weapons on offense, and
Yet this
defense
team
needs
with
to
all
blitz.
these, Mike,
They
yet
need
this
to
team
blitz.
that has all these weapons found a way to lose to the Browns and the Raiders. Again, I
Yeah, shit
respect the
happens.
Ravens. I do think that's a possibility they could beat us, but again, I never fear the Ravens. I just want
No,
to say
you
you
don't
never
fear
fear
them. You
them.
respect them. You
You
respect
respect them.
them. You don't fear them. Because at the end of the day, we're all talking about it's going to be an offensive output, which would go back to being a typical
It's gonna
steer.
be
That's what like
20-17 or some
I want to
crap, you know?
I want like hard hitting games.
But you know what, Mike?
I want a nail biter, man. I want a nail biter of a
And I
game.
don't mind
That's
all
how
the
this.
flags. I see something here in one of these later things. I want the refs to let these guys play.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Flag it when it's there. But at
yeah.
some point, you got to let the guys play as well.
This is a physical rivalry. Let them hit. As long as, like John said, as long as it's clean hits, let it go, man. Let it go. Let hand fighting happen a little bit more in this
Right.
game.
Absolutely. That's what the NFC North, the AFC North's all about. It's tough
Mm-hmm.
physical football. Let them play tough physical football. Um,
I don't know, man. Our NFC South, fans like to say that's physical between the Saints and the Falcons.
that's what they say. I said it's
That's
one of
what
the
they
biggest.
say.
Some people say it's one of the biggest rivals in the
Some
league.
might say the biggest rivalry in the NFL.
Crazy. Um, Mike, anything if we start getting ready to wrap things up, man?
No, man. Other than that, man, thanks to everyone coming and checking us out, especially I want to get the name right. Shout out Raven76. Thank you for coming out. Love the banter back and forth.
We would love to see you come back if next week if we win.
If we win,
lose,
if you guys win,
I don't ever want to see
just
you
you
again.
can
I
gloat
just
from
nothing
afar.
personal.
Yeah, nothing personal. If you
Um,
guys win, you're not welcome back.
But I do predict the Steelers are going to win this game. I
Yeah.
do believe it's going to be. Listen, I know there's a lot of offense. I know that things are different, but it's always in that same range for me. Low scoring, close, tough. It's going to be this. It's going to be a Steeler Raven game. I don't think that changes. But yeah, my pick is going the Steelers direction. Mike, my thing is this, guys. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul tonight. We should have put up at some point a poll, Mike.
I
I
forgot.
could just
The show
strangle
flew
you to
by,
death.
man.
But Mike, who do you like? Who do you like tonight in the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight going down on Netflix? There are 3 undercard fights following this. It starts at 8:00 p.m. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul on Netflix tonight. Mike, who do you like in this game?
My heart says Mike Tyson, but my brain says Jake Paul. He's almost 30 years younger than him. Come on now.
Here, let me give you a little bit of the bonus, guys. Jake Paul's 27. He's 6 foot tall, 227 pounds. He has a 76-inch reach. His record is 10-1 with 7 knockouts. He's from Cleveland, Ohio. Mike Tyson is 58 years old, 5'10", 228 pounds, 71 inches on his reach. He has a 50-6 record, 44 knockouts from Brooklyn, New York. Nickname Iron Mike, the baddest man on the planet. And he's going up against the problem child, the nickname for Jake Paul. Mike, did you say Tyson?
I said Paul with my brain.
Okay, you said Paul?
My heart wants Tyson. My heart wants Tyson, but
Phil still says Tyson wins KO third round. I'm going to go Tyson on this one, guys. I don't feel I feel like I would be doing my Generation X a disservice if I would take
Right.
Jake Paul. Mike Tyson wins tonight. Steelers win on Sunday. Those are my picks, guys. Mike, anything else before we get ready to wrap things up?
No, man. Hey, Ravens 76, thanks for a sub, man. We do hope to see you back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we love this banter back and forth. But yeah, I hope Mike Tyson's win. Mike Tyson wins. I hate the Paul brothers. So let's go Iron Mike.
I also do want to say thank you everybody for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We appreciate each and every one of you, each and every one, even if you're a Ravens fan. Uh, I do want to say thank you so much. You guys, we wouldn't do it without you. We couldn't do it without you. Everybody on the board, you guys always keep things interesting, and everybody at home as well, guys. We love you. Mike, anything else that I'm forgetting?
I got nothing, man. The only people aren't allowed here are Browns fans. I think we all can agree on that.
I think we can agree on that. But
Yep.
hey, no, thank you everybody once again for hanging
Yes.
out. We hope you have a great, safe weekend. Enjoy all these sports. There's mad sports going on starting
Yes.
tonight. If you're just a Berg fan in general, you got Penguins, you got Pitt basketball tonight, you got Pitt football tomorrow, you got high school playoffs. Good news with the Pirates right now with Paul Skeens. Tyson tonight, Steelers Ravens Sunday. It doesn't get much better than this. So please stay safe, everybody. Have a great weekend. Cheer on your Steelers, cheer them to victory. We'll be back first thing Monday to talk about everything that I just mentioned and much, much more. Everybody, have a great weekend. Keep them terrible towels waving. Let's get the Steelers a win, and we'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.